This video contains spoilers as I will mention bosses, items, progression and NPCs. Enjoy the video. Terraria 1.4 has now been released almost a month ago, and I had a lot of fun playing the game again with and without my friends. Holy shit, this script is actually very old, and I remade it since it was outdated. A couple of days after the creation of our world, my best friend showed me a strange seed that I wanted to talk about in this video. I've done a bit of research on the wiki and I now explored all the 5 secret words. The first one I want to mention is not the bees, a reference to the 2006 film The Wicker Man. The seed messes around a lot with word generation, making everything a giant beehive, with honey everywhere, making it hard to navigate due to the really high movement speed debuff honey and honey blocks give. Not to mention all the bees spawning from such blocks. Another downside is that oases, glowing mass mini biomes and spider caves will never be generated, as well as gemstone caves, moss chambers and thin ice. Lava traps and shell pies and moss will also not be added. One of the first things you can notice upon entering this world is the merchant is replacing the guide. A little strange, but nothing compared to the world generation. The drunk world is the second one we are going to take a look at. Generated by both the seed shown on screen that represent a release date of Terraria 1.4. The name derives from the source code, where it is referred as Drunk World Gen. The first thing you are going to notice during the generation is the weird flicker between the color red and purple on the loading bar. Once spawned, you can see the party girl has replaced the guide and she will be having the music option unlocked for now on. Use it to toggle the Terraria Otherworld soundtrack. As you probably guessed from the loading screen, both evols are generated in this world, as well as both early game ore variants. This change gets applied to hard mode as well, since destroying demon and crimson altars generates all 6 hard mode ores. Other major changes are, the jungle temple is double as big, there are a lot more wooden spikes, and it has a green color. The dungeon entrance is removed, and instead you access it from a living tree. Beehives are larger and contain multiple larvae. The blood moon spawns more often. A couple of Easter eggs are also added to the world. The Moonlord legs and red potion can generate in chests. The Moonlord legs are an armor piece added due to a recurring joke in the community. It gives a unique walking animation and increases various stats. On the other hand, the red potion, if you are not worthy, upon consumption has some interesting results, to say the least. We now face a very interesting challenge, Sid. For the worthy. For some reason, during the world generation, all messages are backwards, and the demolitionist replaces the guide. All the world generation is changed with a lot more lava pockets, and much more common and larger rare biomes. Red potions can spawn, and instead of the debuffs I mentioned earlier, it instead gives 3 random buffs for 30 minutes. Even bunnies are dangerous in this seed, as all of them are explosive bunnies that will one-shot any player upon taking damage. Other than small generation and mob spawn changes, all the enemies' defense and damage is increased. The contact damage is so high that hard mode enemies are capable of annihilating players with endgame gear with a single melee hit. But the most important thing is the overhaul of the bosses, from the small buff to damage, health and speed. Some get to unique and strange changes. I think this deserves a video on its own, because the difference is huge and the challenge is immense, especially if combined with higher difficulty settings. Moving on, we can talk about the celebration MK10, which refers to Terraria's 10th birthday anniversary. From the start, you can tell something is off, because you're welcomed by multiple NPCs and the spawn point is set on one of the world's edges. Other changes are the pink color of the dungeon. Every chest contains items with the best modifiers, and you can also encounter some scrapped enemies, such as the jungle mimic. This was removed because the jungle has already way too much valuable loot. Last but not least, we have the new addition, the Constant, a seed added for the crossover between Terraria and Don't Starve Together that will give the world a brand new look, world generation, and introduce new mechanics such as hunger and dangerous darkness. Also changing drastically the world generation and even going as far as removing more valuable ores. And this crossover, in my opinion, is much more enjoyable than the event added for the Dungeons Defenders one. As a bonus mention, the seed being randomized can lead the game to create a drunk world or celebration world without specifying the seed, but the chances of it happening are insanely low. This is due to the random seed being a random number. The seed can match the one needed for one of these secret seeds. The chances are doubled for the celebration seed to generate due to the fact the 2 seed number triggered the secret. I'm ueseme, and these were Terraria special seeds. Farewell.